on because we got a whole lot of talking to do. And plus, she's a recording artist. Peace of mind. Yes, peace of mind. We're going to give you a little snippet of that too today. And here she is, the one and only, the superstar, the ever wonder. I'm going to call you the eighth wonder of the world. Her name is. How you doing?
Sharon WYNN. I'm good. How are you?
All right. I'm doing great. I'm doing great, trying to get caught up. My mind gets to boggling all around the place when I want to introduce somebody because, when it comes to music, my mind is always thinking about music. But welcome to the show. I'm glad you was able to join me on this Tuesday afternoon here. Is it?
Morning here.
Morning there. Yeah. Time, that time thing,
Yeah.
I go to sleep late. So when people getting up, I'm just sometimes going to bed, or I'm getting up when people are getting in bed. But nevertheless, I'm glad that you was able to come and fill us in on you being an author and a little bit of your background and your history. I know you're an author and a recording artist now, but let's touch on, your book, because that's, I think that would lead up into you becoming a singer. Or which one was first?
I was actually a singer first.
Okay, well, you want to talk about your music first?
I will talk about my music because I come from a large family. Of course, my sister Juanita.
Yeah.
Juanita WYNN, she's amazing, who's worked with some of everybody. And so I've kind of, I've watched her. I've worked in the studio with her. She's amazing. And so I kind of came up in the church. My father was a pastor. I'm number 8 in the pecking order. There's 9 of us.
Oh, okay.
7 girls and 1 boy. So, I'm number 8. So my older sisters were singing. So I kind of got in on the group a little later, when I got a little older. So just singing was something that was just a part of our family, our life for many years. So the older I got, I eventually got to where, I really enjoyed singing. So I did a live recording. I recorded my very own first project, like in 2005.
Oh,
it's been 2005, years ago. So that's where I started and just kind of went from there with the singing. So the Unmute Your Heart, the book, was kind of a journey process that happened along the way. Because, life takes you through many different challenges and, courses of life. And, I think everybody has markers of traumatic things that happen to them in their life. If you look at your life from 0, let's say to 50, 0 to 50, those years in between, there are, very, life-changing things that happen along the way. So this was one of those markers. This was in one of those markers that kind of was birthed through some of the pain and some of the trials and challenges that I had encountered in my life. So that's how Unmute Your Heart was birthed. But so that came second, but the music was first. Music is first.
Yes. So do you enjoy, because your whole family, is performers, is that's what motivated you with your sister, with Juanita WYNN and your other family members, to prompt you to follow in the footsteps to keep the tradition going, or you?
Well, I had a heart for it.
Oh, okay.
I do have to say that. So my parents, my mom sings. My dad was a singer. My mom and dad were musicians.
Oh,
well. So, I know my sister, as she started her career, she was the main one that never stopped. So I have all these sisters that, we all just had different lives and doing different things. Juanita just never stopped. She kept going. And, we were also very proud of her
Yeah.
for her accomplishments, you know, because she was just all our lives. Now, Juanita and I, let me tell you something about Juanita and
Uh-huh.
and myself. Um, I used to love to hear this girl sing as a little girl.
Okay.
Juanita had a way of singing and expressing herself through her music that just made you sit there and just like look at her like, oh my God. It's like she just knew how to sing it and how to convey it. And that was what was inspiring and motivating to me
Right.
as a young girl. And then she and I, you know, I would sing, we do this little duet together, a John Gibson song that we sing together. And she and I, you know, would growing up as sisters, she was always the fun one. I had a lot of fun sisters, but she was closer in my, you know, it was like it's like groups, you know, we have the
Right.
oldest me and we have, so me, John and Juanita, of
Mm.
course, my little sister Rachel, who's passed on now, but you know, we
Oh,
were like in a group and we just had fun. She was, you know, the funny, silly girl, you know, coming up that I enjoyed hanging around and talking to. But she would sing. She just always had a gift. So she inspired me a lot to want to sing. And her creativity was just amazing. And it still is to this day. So she had a lot to do with me wanting to pursue as well, because sometimes I'd work with her in the studio
oh,
and her work ethic is phenomenal,
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yes, I, like I said, I go searching for people music, and when searching, I ran across hers, and that's when had invited her to my talk show. But that was back when I was at Old Dominion WODU Studios at the university, and
Mhm.
we've been kind of friends ever since then. She's doing something. She's going to be on a concert this Sunday with
Mhm.
Vicky Winans.
Winans, yes.
Yeah, so I love to hear her sing.
Mhm.
It's important for us to continue to connect people with
Yeah,
other people and to inspire as well as to motivate the next generation. We
yes,
we we leave them out there and ask why they so the way they are because we don't reach out to them to let them
that's
know that
right.
we care. So if we just feed them one type of music and said
Mhm.
this is what you need,
Right.
and we on a planet like when I had to write a paper in college, you know about subject about in poetry. I think it was my a poetry class or something in part of art, and I'm like, we're on a planet. Nothing is holding us. Ain't no string holding us up. It, what makes a person believe that the creator doesn't exist, but man does, and nobody but the people on the planet Earth? That's
Yeah,
it doesn't show logic when you see all the wonderful things and
yeah,
all the different colors and races on the planet. We got
yes,
we got to destroy each other.
right.
You know, isn't it common sense that it's easier to help people than to
Yeah,
hurt people?
you
You
would
know,
think, you would
so,
think.
yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, because of reading scripture, you understand that because of music, Satan was the minister in heaven,
Mhm.
but he saw that the humans here on earth was, favorite. They love the music because what I get from that God gave us a gift to be able to sing because it's healing. It's our
Yeah,
communication without getting angry and upset. What we could, really express ourselves through the music.
yeah,
And through that, I think Satan was jealous because they were singing to God. I mean, the creator. And he's feeling like, hey, I'm the minister. You should be doing what I tell you to do.
right.
And by
And very talented and
yeah,
could do a lot with one vocal
right.
and sing different harmonies.
Yeah.
And music is so powerful, just as you're talking about. I mean, when you think about music, music has the ability to, change your moods,
Right.
and we know it in scripture because David played the harp for Saul to calm
Right.
his spirit, and
Right.
music can do that. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't, maybe you can relate, but I remember growing up as a young girl, you have little boyfriends, and I remember
Mhm.
I'd hear certain songs and it would remind me of, oh, that was me and so-and-so song.
Yeah.
Or a time and a place. Music can place you in different things, and it has the ability to change your mood. Music
Hmm.
has the ability. I mean, if you watch a scary movie, turn the music down, it's not so scary anymore. So
Yeah.
music is very powerful,
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yeah. Because that's why in old school days it's called music that soothed the savage beast. When they used to play the Tarzan movies,
Mhm. Yeah.
the Tarzan movies, well, whatever, it goes back to saying that we are the as Afro Americans, blacks, as whatever you want to call us, we have that voice that translate to all races.
Mhm. Yes.
They articulate what we do.
Mhm.
We are the ones that create the music that everybody else uses and develop and
Right.
move their careers forward. Just like
Yes.
with country music. Country
Yes.
music was created by a black woman. But what
Wow.
they do is they call it country and western.
Mhm.
They sing western, we sing country. So the difference is because I played a young lady that she, like you, she was an R&B singer. She sings gospel. Now she changed over and started singing country, and she's blowing up. She was on
Wow.
the Kelly Clarkson show. She's been performing in all over the country with this new uh, country. The black people that's like a group is different people that sing country that's black, you
Okay.
know. But people keep thinking like, but we always sing country. That's what Ray Charles was doing, you know. And they didn't want him, when they saw the movie, they were like, well, we don't want it, hey, the record label said, no, you just stick with what you know. I do know that. And that was his crossover.
Mhm.
Little Richard, when he came along, he's the king of rock and roll, but they want to give it to somebody else. He invented rock and roll.
Yeah.
He also he was the one that discovered the Beatles.
Wow.
They opened up for him. He let them
Wow.
open up to when he went to England. And they say all the artists today, the top ones,
Mhm.
they pay homage to Little Richard, uh,
Mhm.
James Brown, because where we couldn't sing in America,
Mhm.
the black artists would go over to England and
Yes.
perform and make their money. Started way back in the 50s. They would go
Wow.
to England and Louis Armstrong.
Mhm.
Um, I can't think of the other lady's name now. Uh, Dangerous. I can't. All these people went to England and became millionaires in that
Wow.
time. So with you, and I love your music. I love the way it sounds. Let me,
Yeah.
play a little snippet because it's playing now in rotation on WVDM radio for those people
Yeah.
who do listen and those that may not have listened yet. Uh, it's in rotation. And when I go live, I make sure that people hear it every day when I go live. A peace of mind. Let me play a little bit of it. Empowered to break silence so you'll find peace in mind. Peace in mind. Empowered to break silence so you'll find peace
We can't afford to live in stress and anger, entertaining voices deep inside. Silence is never the answer. Be yourself and shout it loud. If you want that peace in mind, oh yeah. Peace in mind, yeah. Power to break silence, so you'll find. So you'll find. Peace in mind, peace in mind. Peace in mind. Oh yeah. Power to break silence, so you'll find. So you'll find. Peace in mind, peace in mind.
All right, all right. What made you title that A Peace of Mind? That's what I wanted to know.
Okay, so and the title is Peace in Mind. And what happened? I had a lived experience. This book, Unmute Your Heart. That was a story of the domestic violence, some things that I had went through in my personal life, and there's something called ACEs. ACEs are adverse childhood experiences that young people experience under the age of 18. I have 5 children, me and their father. 5 kids we had together, 4 daughters, 1 son. And to be honest, the Unmute Your Heart brings about a peace in mind organization that I put together because it affected my kids in all different ways. So my son, he started dealing with some issues, and I had to advocate for him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most devastating thing. So Peace in Mind is an organization, a nonprofit organization that I started to help, deal with families who needed some assistance for resources and advocacy, who were dealing with children who were struggling with mental health issues. This is the lived experience that I had. So I wanted to give back because it was the most frightening, devastating thing that I had ever experienced. And finding out later that it was trauma from the divorce, and it was also, there was drug usage. Okay, so Peace in Mind, the song came about because I wanted to also reach other young people and families who were struggling with mental health issues, because as you know, in the Black community, it's taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody sweeps it under the rug. And you have people that use derogatory terms towards other people. And these things are the things that stop people from wanting to get the help that they need, because nobody wants to feel like an outcast. Nobody wants to feel like something's wrong with them, especially surrounding, mental health. So me being the mama that I am, I've never been one, even with Unmute Your Heart, I've never been one to just sit back and just take anything.
Okay.
I seek for resources, but then I seek to see how I can help other people. You were talking about helping people.
Right.
In the vein that you're in, and I have to commend you, because there are people that you can be connected to that can help you, and they won't. And they don't. But they tell you, oh, I support you. Oh, you're doing such a good this and that. But you have the avenue, you have the resources, or you have the information to help me, but you won't help me.
Right.
Like I say, that's ugly.
Yeah.
But I feel like everything works together, so like you said, you searched for music and you came across Peace in Mind, and here I am today, right?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I thank you for having me, because what I'm talking about and dealing with is so important. The music is to me, that's like the icing on the cake, because I like it. But more importantly, I want to get a message across to let people know that there's help, there's resources. Peace in Mind was something to attract young people, because if you notice, every time people are talking about mental health, it's this really stern, and I want to break that. I want to break silence. I want to demolish the stigmas. I want to peel back the labels and let people know, hey, it's okay for you to get the help that you need for your health and well-being. Forget what people say. Because you know what you never hear? You never hear people say, don't take your insulin. You never hear people, don't take your high blood pressure medicine. Do you
I'm
hear
telling
that?
you, no,
You don't
no,
hear that.
no.
But
That,
when it comes to this, it's a problem. And we want to break that. We want to break that. And this is how the song came into play. And like I was sharing with you, Jan J Hunter, he's an up and rising producer. And you
okay.
can look him up as well. But he wrote this track. And he did it some time back ago. I call him my godson. And I'm like, yeah, Jay, I need some music. And here's another thing. It's about helping people. He sent me 3 tracks. He didn't charge me a dime.
Wow.
That's the first thing.
Hey, hello.
Sent me the tracks. And he's like, okay. And I wrote because he believed in what I was doing and he believed in the cause, that I was trying to push. And that was to help people to advocate, to seek help, and so for their healing process. So that's how the song "Peace in Mind" came about. So and it just came to me. Like I said, I lived with it for a little while, for like probably 2 or 3 months. I would
Okay.
get in bed and I would play the track, and I would just sleep on it. And one day I got up. My nephew Joshua, he's also an artist. And I told him, I said, Joshua, I need to come and, lay this track down. And I started listening to the music. And lo and behold, it was sung to me in my ear. I just heard it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, wait, I think I got it.
Right.
So I wrote, peace in mind, empowered to break silence. So you'll find peace in mind. So it all just came together.
So your book, is it geared to females, young people, or how would you are you advocating for people to buy this book? Is it just for adults or just for is it both for youth as well?
You know what? Let me tell you this. Unmute Your Heart. It's available now on Amazon.com.
Okay.
It's for male and female. And I say this at any stage. It's faith-based, because what I did not want to become was the mad Black woman. I was, let me, I'm so serious. Let me
Don't
tell
do
it. When you go through, traumatic, hurtful relationships, your instinct, because someone is hurting you, is to fire back.
Yeah.
Your instinct is to try to hurt them as bad as they're hurting you. Okay. So I felt myself like there was some stuff that was like, okay, wait a minute. And that was not who I was. That's not who I was. I am not, I'm not that person that this situation was trying to make me become.
Right.
But what I didn't want to do was lose the essence of who I was, because I'm a good woman.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah.
That's two snaps and a circle.
Hello. Say it twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a good woman.
Yeah.
And I didn't want my circumstances to change who I was, because I didn't want, and a lot of what I dealt with, it was because we married really young. So there was insecurity, there was jealousy, and there was control. He played for the NFL, and pastored. So it was extra traumatic. How about that?
Right.
So this book, I wrote it to encourage women, and to also kind of, because I share some things that happen, but for a man, because I've had men give me feedback with this book, and to show them how not to be,
Yeah.
because this is not a mudsling. If you're looking for, it's not a mudsling.
Okay.
It was about healing for me. I didn't have time to sit up to try to see how I could destroy somebody. They know what they did.
Right.
But like I said, I shared some things, but I share how I got through it gracefully. So, and I'll just share this because one of the chapters in the book is entitled Fruit of the Spirit.
Mhm.
And when I first heard that, like God was speaking to me, Sharon, you need more fruit of the Spirit. Because I remember I was like, God, he's doing this, he's doing that.
Right.
I was like, you need more fruit of the Spirit. And I was a little offended when that dropped in my spirit like that. I'm like, wait a minute, why do I need, you had attitude, why do I need fruit of the Spirit? I'm not saying I was perfect. I mean,
Right.
because everybody, there's nobody's perfect. There's no perfect marriage, period.
Hello.
Nothing. But that chapter, Fruit of the Spirit, it taught me that having the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, long suffering, temperance, meekness, faith, having those attributes, it helped me to maintain my grace and my dignity.
Mhm.
Now, did I do the dummy sometimes? Sometimes I did do the dummy. In the beginning, I did. I did the dummy. I'm not gonna lie. I went, but I didn't want to stay there, and I didn't want to continue on that path.
Right.
The fruit of the Spirit helped me to kind of, gather myself. And then I focused on myself and my children because I wanted to be better for them. I have 4 daughters and I have 1 son. So I needed to, pull myself together so that I could, be a better woman because
Right.
of it. So this book is for women, to help women, to encourage them to be better. Be better. Your reward is your success when you just stay the course and don't give into the negativity that may come, that may plague you. And it will plague you. I'm not saying it won't, because it will. We're human. Nobody
Right.
wants to be hurt. So, but you've got to rise above it. You've got to stay focused and make, smart moves. Do the good things that you know to do, to receive your reward, your peace, your happiness.
So with that said, are you going to be doing any book tours, signing?
You know what? I look to be doing some book tours. I've done right before COVID. COVID kind of like threw a wrench in a lot of stuff, I think, for a lot
Hello.
of people.
Yeah.
I especially, like right now, I have a book that is coming out for even peace in mind. So this is the book that's coming out, Peace in Mind. It's on the website, but it hasn't been released yet. It's called What's in a House If
Okay.
Walls Could Talk. So this is dealing with, how we're dialoguing and interacting even in our homes with our children or
Okay.
with our spouses and what have you, and how to have a more healthy outcome by talking about subject matters of things that are happening in people's lives that they're not talking about. Once again, the ACEs piece deals with divorce. It deals with abuse sexually, physically, all these traumatic events. Sometimes it can be death that happens. Anything that's traumatic in a young person's life that changes the course of their life, for the rest of their life. Talking about these issues and dealing with these issues in the Black household family, the slogan was what goes on in the house stays there. We don't talk about things that are happening in our home. And there are times when a lot of stuff should have been talked about because it could have spared a lot of people from a lot of abuse and anguish, but we're coming along. We're understanding this now. So I look to be doing book tours and really, I think your platform and you helping me is gonna open up more doors.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it, and we would definitely, it'll be posted on my website. Whatever's coming down the pipe, we'll
Okay.
definitely put it there on the site where people can go and check it out.
Yeah, because I'm going to be releasing my coloring book called The Real Adventures of Captain85 probably next month. It's
Okay.
just that I was a lot of legal issues with the Copyright Office.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep going back and forth because I left the date on it. And
Ah,
when I created it, I think that's the biggest problem. Then they
mm,
say it's the artist, the art, because I'm a fine arts. I
okay.
paint. I don't do cartoons. I never read. I don't read cartoon books. I mean comic books. Never read that. We didn't have it in our house because we couldn't afford it when I was coming up. So if we read a book, it was a school book. That was it. But they keep going back and forth. But I wrote another one because I'm one up after listening to the lady that wrote the metrics
Uh-huh.
and the metrics and Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
Mhm.
Terminator.
Yeah.
She said, I was listening to her, and when she was talking, she said the copyright people were giving me such a hard time when I
Wow.
wrote these books.
Wow.
I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going through that now with
Wow.
my book because everything that they're talking about that's dealing with young people is what my comic book and my coloring book is about.
Wow.
I started, I mean,
Wow.
I created the character first. And I created the character in developing the way he looked, with what
Wow.
was available to me at the time to create the costume. Is all it
Mhm.
was. First I started off with tights. It was like maroon, like something
Mhm.
like Superman. Because I talked to the people in New York, different
Mhm.
places, California. Well, to do costumes, Superman costume, they're tights and leotards. I said, okay. He said, if I did it, we did it for Superman.
Uh-huh.
Only a hand painted logo on a pair of tights. Okay. But if we did it, it's gonna cost you $50,000 a tight.
Wow.
That's what Superman logo on a pair of tights costs.
Wow.
$50,000 because it's hand painted. But the guy said, since you seem like you're on to something, but I could tell you the cheapest way to do it. And he
Mhm.
told me how to do it. I flew to New York, had them to do my design. And that's the logo that you'll see in the corner on the screen, part of my logo for my radio station.
Okay.
And it's just and I'm like, so when I had my artist had moved and I hadn't talked to him in about 20 years, you know. So, but
Wow.
my thing is, I didn't draw it. I
Mhm.
get, you give people like you write music, you give the people the notes. When we got to take that out, take that word out of that line out, and put this in there. But it's your song, you wrote it. It just help
Right.
you get it to where. So what it is make a long story short, is that I don't like taking credit for something I didn't do.
Mhm.
I don't draw comics. I draw you. I can paint you. I
Mhm.
can draw you. But what I do is my spirit tells me how to write things. So I write it
Mhm.
in pieces and I give it to them to put to each character. I take pictures of people. These are the people I want to put in this scene, and that's what he
Mhm.
does. Very good at it. And because I don't want to take his name off it, they give me the runaround.
Wow.
So when I did talk to him, and he said, because I go by the name of Captain85. He said, Cap, if it's that much of a bother, just take my name off. I said, I'm not going to do it. They
Wow.
can't stop me from publishing the book. I can publish it, but I'm not going to take your name off it because it's you created the images that I gave you. You
Mhm.
turned into what I wanted. If it made $10 or $10 million, I'm gonna take you taken care of. It
Yeah.
ain't about the money, it's about the message.
Mhm.
How can I sit and tell young people not to do something and I'm gonna take a name off just because he's a ghostwriter?
Wow.
Okay, so he's a ghostwriter. So what? The ghostwriter's name is Sterling Clark.
Mhm.
That's his name. He's still
Wow.
he does his own comic books. He said,
Mhm.
Captain, just take my name off, man. You know, I said no, because I'm, you know, since I done found you, we got more work to do, because we can't stop the violence, the
Right.
bullying, suicide, because you're not relating to the people that you're trying to reach. And my books do. You know,
Wow.
I got national awards and stuff for what I done. You know? So when I tell people it's about the future generation, but the enemy is always going to attack you if he feels like he can eliminate you stopping the pipeline to prison. That's what it is. The
Yeah,
pipeline to prison, and the rest of it is going to the cemetery.
exactly.
You know, but we as a group of people have to come together, because young people feel like they're out there by themselves.
Right.
You know, so what I do is create stuff to make them to come and understand that it's, you know, I care about you. And that's what I was asking you about, your book, your music, you know, to translate that into young people, because you have organization, and hopefully you know, with the things that I'm working on, that we could team up and do some things. That's why I was asking you, when are you going to be doing some tours? When are you going, are you starting to take dates for performing?
Yeah, yes, I am. I am.
Okay.
Like I shared with you
Uh-huh.
about, you know, because my recording that I did, and that never really got out. So I'm in the process now of even resurrecting that.
Okay.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
when I was in the relationship and, you
Mhm.
know, I was told that I had to stop. You can't sing anymore. He told me that he didn't want me singing anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I have to, I have to say, with, you know, domestic violence comes in it comes in many different forms.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's verbal, there's physical, there's emotional, there's psychological, you know, there's the control
Yeah.
aspect of it. And in that controlling aspect of it, I was told, you know, hey, you know, you can't sing anymore. Where I was singing and I was going and what have you. So I had to stop. I had to stop doing it. And it
Yeah.
took a lot out of me. And and for any woman out there that's listening, I will say, you know, you have to find a way to keep pushing forward and keep moving forward, because
Yeah.
you know it takes a lot out of you. I don't condone abuse in any way, male or female.
Right.
Nobody deserves to be abused,
Yeah.
period. You know, nobody deserves you to have, don't put your hands on me. And then nobody deserves to be verbally abused and talked down to.
Right. Hello.
You don't, that stuff, it's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for our children. And you have a lot of people that stay in relationships because they feel like they're trying to keep mom and dad together. But you would much rather have help your kids to not see traumatic stuff that's going on, you know,
Mhm.
and put them in a safe environment, you know. So you got to keep pushing forward. I had to stop singing. So with all that being said, when I wrote this book, there's also
Uh-huh.
I also did another CD. I'll have to send it to you. It's called
Okay.
Live Again.
Is it on the internet? I mean, is it in the music?
It was, and I took it down, but
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I took it down.
Okay.
Um, but I'm going to send you a copy of that CD. I'm going to
Okay.
send you a copy, and then I'll put it back up, because I'm in the process of rebuilding
Okay.
and restoring, and just, you know, doing what I was called to do
Thank
without
you.
having someone stifle me or tell me that I can't. Because when you don't do what's in you to do, you die. You die a
Hello.
slow death,
That's right.
and you
Because
never
God,
fulfill.
because God gave you the gift. See
Yes.
what we have these gifts, and other people don't recognize their gifts. So they get upset because they see you prospering,
Hmm.
and they want to, hey, you're not going to do this because you'll get bigger than me. I mean, I
Right.
went through the same thing as a DJ, you
Yeah.
know, in my when I had just got married, and, you know, I was kind of, I was real popular. And I used to go by the name of I had several names, but one that really stuck with, resonated with everybody was when I called myself the Freaky Dicky Madman.
Okay.
That, that was in the 70s, I was the Freaky Dicky Madman, I would say anything. I don't use profanity, I don't curse and all that, but I just make rhymes. I just rhyme, and people be dying on the dance floor while they dancing. This guy's crazy. Did you hear what he just said? So every time I would, go out with my wife and go in a club when I wasn't working, and ladies would walk by and say, "Ooh, that freaky dicky man." And my wife would look, my wife would say, "See, you need to change your name. You need to stop DJing." And then my mother-in-law got on me. Like, she worked in one of the steak places, where you buy all the frozen food at. And she said, you really need to, you married, and you need to get another job.
Really?
The ladies be coming in the club, they don't even know I'm your mother-in-law. And the things they be saying about you, you really need to get another job. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know these ladies. I don't know people. I'm playing to 600, 700, 800 people. If somebody say something about me, I'm taking it as it's supposed to be flattery. Y'all can do to me like I'm doing something wrong. I'm a dancer. I love to dance. I used to dance like I create dances. That's what I do. I'm creative. So when you're telling me to stop music, I've been listening to music ever since I was a child, when my father used to play the guitar after dinner, and he used to sing blues, on the front porch before we go to bed. So everything I grew up around music, singing in the choir at church, going out with my friends, and we playing, tambourines and maracas and all this. It's just that, and you telling me I got to stop all that because I'm getting paid, I'm making money, I'm taking care of my family, I'm bringing all my money home, we paying bills, but I got to stop because what people say, I don't know them. Wow. So when I understand how you feel, that's painful for somebody that you love to tell you need to stop. I've been through that as a male. I went to my brother, my oldest brother at the time when he was living, he was a member of the Playboys Bunny Club.
Hop.
And we go in there. My first time, going there, and he took me and my wife and my other brothers and his wife. We went. So a female comes over and say, "Would you like to dance?" So I said, "Well, no, I'm here with." She said, So she said, "Would it be okay if I dance with your husband?" My wife said, "Sure." I'm a dancer, but back then it was a song came. I want to be a freak, but I just can't help myself.
Is that what you were dancing to?
That's the song that they put on in the play. Yeah, I mean, I played it as a DJ, and I'm seeing that this lady, she's a white lady, and she kept trying to rub on me, and I'm like, "Oh no, don't do that." I'm turning every way. I'm turning sideways. Every time she get up close on me, I'm turning. I'm moving away from her. Last time she did it, I wasn't fast enough. All I know is my wife walked on the dance floor and spin her around.
Okay.
And and all I can remember from that point, from the 70s, late 70s to probably 1999, my brother would say, "Yeah, freaky dicky madman. I guess you ain't a freak no more." That's my wife grabbed me, and I'm like, she wants to argue and fight in the club, and I'm like, I'm not used to this kind of stuff. I just love to have fun. I'm creative. So I understand when the pain, I can feel your pain because I've been there as a man and you as a woman, and you're very beautiful. So, I mean, I know people get insecure. I mean, I get a little jealous if somebody might pay a little more attention to my wife, you know. But as long as they ain't putting their hands on her, touching her, it's okay. You can talk to her. I don't get upset with that because I know we have emotions. We have friends. You know, you have to understand is she still has to be a woman.
Right.
And people, you're going to be attracted to other men. But as long as you keep in
How you handle it.
how you handle it, right? Because you have to handle it. Because when the man handle it, now it's going to really be a problem. Because now he's making you feel that he can't trust you around or be around other men, and you're saying I'm getting accused anyway. Because this is how the mind works. You're getting accused, you might have better go ahead and do it. You say it to your girlfriend, Lord, child, it was me. I'd have got those digits. You know, I'd have got that number. And it's not, it's an emotional feeling. When you love somebody, you can't tell the heart. The heart doesn't know what the mind is saying. The mind knows what the heart is feeling. So when you're writing this book and doing this type of music, it's a testimony for other women's, you know, to get this book, to understand that unmute your heart, because it's the heart that's suffering. The mind is telling you, hey, I wouldn't even listen to that devil.
Yes. Right.
That's what he's saying. But it's the devil telling you not to listen to the devil.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because spirituality is different. You know, let us look at it in this light. Don't put it in the dark part, because the dark is going to lead you down a trail that of no return. You know, and abuse and being, you know, because I got a little upset, you know, with my first wife. She was, you know, it's a lot. I got to write my own book. This is your hour, but I know the pain. I know the pain of both sides, you know. And when you go through something and you got kids, nobody wants to break up because of kids, you know. And with me, I had 3 kids by my wife, but we separated because I had got a young lady pregnant while we was married. And you know, it's one thing led to another, but we wound up getting a divorce. And we was married for 20 some years, and we got a divorce, and we were separated for 7 years. But I didn't want to be misleading to think that we was going to get back together. So I went and got a divorce, and then I remarried, and now I'm married to my second wife, and we all friends. My first wife and my second wife, and my first wife do things for my wife that other wives may not do for ex-wife. If she need to go to the doctor, she'll take her. She, you know.
That's nice.
To our house, we sit around with all the kids, and we
That's
talk.
nice.
You know, so I know I messed up, but I'm not God, so I can't punish somebody for what they done or what I went through, and I can't keep punishing myself. So I pray for forgiveness from both ends.
Right.
Because I didn't get married to cheat on my wife. You see what I'm saying? I didn't get married to fight my wife, you know, because I am a man. My dad, I don't care how much my mom argued with my dad, he would never, ever hit her. My mom would throw dishes, plates, you know, slap him in the face. All my father would do is say, Nick, stop, go ahead now, go ahead. And he keep right on writing his numbers. He sit down and he'll write a whole book of numbers, add them, subtract it. I don't know what it was, but that's all he would do. And like I tell people, God is love. He's not angry with you. He just wants you to understand that he loves you. That's why he sent his son in the world. That's why Jesus came in the world. Because God, you know, people like, well, I spoke to God. God don't speak to no man. He speaks to no man. That's what Jesus said. He said, no man cometh to the Father unless you cometh through me. That's why you have to call on the name of Jesus Christ. That's absolutely. You know, so when we are going through things, we have to recognize that our future generation is in that state. Our kids are dying every single day.
Every day.
Every hour.
Every day.
Somebody's dying. And it's youth. And that's the enemy. He's still jealous of God. So when you
Yes.
look at the kids being born and you're writing your book and your music, it's going to resonate with somebody, you
Right.
know. So I'm hopefully that, when I get situated with, getting everything I'm working on in order, that I can hopefully invite you down either for a book signing or both, and to perform. Like I tell people, God don't make no mistakes. We make mistakes when we don't recognize what is
Mhm.
real and what is make believe.
Mhm.
We got a lot of fake friends. Like
Yeah.
I keep telling people, am I rich? Nope. Do I have $1,000 in the bank? Nope. But I pay my bills on time. But that don't come from me. That comes from God.
Right.
When God give you a task to do, stick to the task. He said,
Right.
worry about nothing, pray
Yeah.
about everything. So what I do is I work to engage young people to let them understand that they're not alone.
Right.
There is a tribe, if you want to say a tribe, uh, or a village, or whatever you might want to call it today.
Yeah.
It's coming. The enemy is trying to stop, but God said you can't stop what God has already ordained.
Yes.
So when I run across people music or get to, invite them to this talk show, it's
Mhm.
not because I just want to have somebody on the talk show. It's because my spirit led me to what you're doing, and
Awesome.
when God get in the mix, that's all you got to do is, people have to do is stay focused, because God don't make mistakes, because we are human. We do. But God said, hold on to unchanging hands. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
But the hard part is telling people of your experience. And
Mhm.
you got your book, you got your music. And when I listen to your song, it resonates. I understand it. I can interpret what you're saying. So when I'm playing it or when I want to speak on it, I
Mhm.
can speak on it from that experience,
Yeah.
and knowing that I haven't read your book, but with the picture you have on it, the one I got on the screen and the other one that you got, it shows you are confident. It shows that God has given grace you to be able to say, I've been through the storm.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
Yes.
The sunshine is about to continue to shine on both sides of the street. What I
Absolutely.
could, what I was bound not to do, and now it made me an author because of that.
It
Now
did.
I'm gonna flourish in both areas. That's what I see, you know, as when I talked to LL Cool J one time when I met him, and I had showed him my comic book, and he said, "Would you like this to be turned into a comic strip? I mean, for a comic book. I mean, cartoon." I saw, and he said, I'm gonna try to make that happen from my lips to God's ears. You know, that's what he said. And unfortunately,
Mhm.
I lost my cell phone a couple of weeks later with his number in it.
Oh no.
But God don't make mistakes. I'm about to launch my coloring book, and I got other endorsements and other awards that I've already received for the work I do in the community. But like I
Mhm.
keep telling people, the ability to do things is when God says time.
Right.
Sometimes it's just not time. It's
Timing
not the time.
is everything.
Right. So, like I said, is I'm glad to have you on my show. I'm glad I know your sister as well. I enjoy her music. I play, all most of the music that she has. Like I keep telling people, I don't usually ask people to send me music unless I can't find it. I
Mhm.
buy every song is on my internet radio station. I purchased them out of iTunes. How can you say you so support somebody if you ain't buying the music?
Yeah.
That's not support when you sending me
Right.
music, let me buy it, because
Right.
I gotta have all the data anyway. So I ain't trying to buy, it's a lot of, uploading and burning. I can just go to iTunes, pay for it.
Right.
But it ain't but $1.25. If they could stay away from McDonald's for one day, they can buy two of your,
Starbucks.
they can buy two EPs.
Starbucks.
You know, Starbucks, and they can buy your book. They can buy your book from, stay away from Starbucks and all these places, and they can buy your book and your EP now, and still have money left over
Yep.
for
Most
cheap.
definitely.
But
And be more enlightened.
right, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's knowledge. You get this. You get the emotional from your experience of being in the studio, because that's the spirit part of because I used to take martial arts. So when people don't understand the rhythms and the melodies that your vocal cords make, it's what God instill in you. So when he speaks to you, he knows your voice.
Yes.
He knows you by everything, every aspect.
Mhm.
You know, he knows when you cry. He knows the melody. He knows what it sounds. A
Absolutely.
billion people, everybody's got a different sound that
Yeah.
we recognize. You
Mhm.
know, you don't have to talk 5, 6, or 10 different languages. He knows by the frequency of your body.
Mhm.
And that's what the man knows here on earth. They use frequency to control everything on planet.
Mhm.
So when they don't continue to study and learn that the frequency that God gave us is what God accepts, you know,
Yes.
from us. And that's how he knows, because he's not gonna, he does not weigh the flesh.
Yes.
That's why you see that scale on the pyramid.
Mhm.
Put your heart in that scale. And if it goes down, bye. Put you in purgatory. But if it goes up, he give you another opportunity to live, you know, so you live on. But with your closing words about your unmute your heart, what would you like to say to the people, and about your song, Peace of Mind?
Well,
Peace.
first, Peace in Mind. First of all, I'd like to encourage everyone to go out and download Peace in Mind, share it. Also, go on Amazon.com. You can purchase Unmute Your Heart, the book. I believe it'll really, it'll touch your life. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Peace in Mind Inc. So that's Peace IN Mind INC.com is the website address. And then of course, Peace in Mind Inc. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and like and share and let all your friends and family, let everybody know we're making a positive impact in the earth. I say I'm just a branch on the tree, and my fruit that I have to help nurture others is available to others, because I really want to see people healed.
Yes.
I want to see people, I want to see some life-changing, good things happen for people, advocacy, information about advocacy. Because right now, as you may know, mental illness it's on the rise. And if it's not touching you directly, it is touching you indirectly, because I think it's touching everybody. But now we're getting to a place where now people are more, are getting a little comfortable about really talking about it, because they realize that they need help. Because the longer that you wait to advocate for your loved one, the worse their symptoms can become. So even faith-based, we believe in God, but we have to spiritually and naturally seek help for our loved ones and for ourselves.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And hopefully this won't be the last time.
Oh no, it will not be the last time. As they say, scripture says, use what you speak in existence. You have to speak it in existence for it to manifest.
Yes.
Oh, you'll be coming to VA. I can promise you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule. And we'll be talking soon.
Absolutely.
All right, then.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. The one and only Unmute Your Heart with the one and only, the great Juanita. I'm talking about Her last name is what she does is Sharon Wine. Sharon WYNN. I get tongue tied when I talk so much. Sharon WYNN, the sister of Juanita WYNN, will be performing this Sunday at the Mount Lebanon Baptist Church in Norfolk, Virginia. And y'all share this link. Get the book. Unmute Your Heart, and support this young lady and let her know that you heard it right here on WVDM Radio. Sharon WYNN and her new single, Peace in Mind. Peace in Mind is on all music outlets. And from 3 to 5, if you haven't heard it, tune in from 3 to 5 on frequency distribution on WVDM Radio. To the next time we meet, to the next time we agree, remember to love yourself and put God first. Everything else will fall in place because it doesn't matter what others think about you. It's what you think about yourself. Once again, I want to thank Sharon WYNN. Peace in Mind and Unmute Your Heart. Now in all bookstores and on the World Wide Web. Until next time.